Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome to Virgo season. We are so ready for you, Virgo season. Am I right? Ooh, isn't it amazing how astrology and the energies of the planets really kind of come in just in the nick of time, which is actually in divine plan and order? That's where we develop our trust, right? Because have y'all been through something big since the full moon in Aquarius? Yeah. Remember that video where I was talking about the Saturn energy and really welcoming it? Well, when you're in it, that's hard. It's hard to stay in that welcoming and trusting place. But then the more that we get to experience this up level, this uptick, like the energy fluctuation coming in to help us integrate and navigate what we have just been through on a higher consciousness level, the more we can trust that that's how the universe plays out and unfolds, right? Y'all, we have so much energy to talk about here. We've got the Virgo New Moon coming up on the 27th. We've got Uranus stationing retrograde on the 24th, which, by the way, is part of all the planets moving into retrograde besides Venus very soon. We're in the retrograde, the pre-retrograde shadow of Mercury right now. We have Mars in Gemini. This is for the long haul. So it's rare and it's something to take note of because Mars will be going into retrograde for so long. And so Mars is staying in Gemini for like 7 months. But wow, that shift was so needed. I mean, case in point, do you notice this message, this video is coming out early? Yeah, I felt that Mars and Gemini shift, and it is like lighting, it's like there's a fire that's being fueled by the air coming in of that Gemini energy. So much to talk about today. But first of all, if you are new to this channel or page, welcome. I'm so excited that you're here and you found us. I hope that this video and these messages give you so much support and just like a warm hug that you've been needing as you navigate these energies. And if you're a longtime listener, I'm so stoked that you're here. Welcome back. And I just wanted to tell you a little bit about who I am and what we do here. So my name is Lori Rising. I'm an intuitive medium and channel, a trauma-informed healer, and an embodiment and ritual facilitator into our metaphysical selves, into our multidimensional abilities. And in these messages, I share some intuitive guidance through the embodiment of the energies that we've been feeling with the planetary fluctuations. And I come on specifically for every new and full moon. And I also do an oracle card read to get more guidance from the cosmos, from the universe, from our cosmic support system, and from the quantum field that we can utilize here and integrate into our physical experience to move forward in higher evolutionary leaps in our unfolding path, in the magnetization of our unfolding path and the reality of our lives here on this planet in these physical vessels. So if you'd like to know more about me, I have lots of freebies for you below. Definitely check them out. It's a great way to begin. I have meditations, I have masterminds, I have a co-create with the universe, a clear your channel. Like, there's so much goodness I have for you. And if you want to go further with me, I have advanced meditations. I have a very intimate and advanced psychic connection and trauma transformation retreat coming up in Mexico in January. And I have other offers coming up too. So definitely jump on my email newsletter list and you'll get even more guidance through those email newsletters that I put a lot of care and love and energy into. So let's go forward. The Virgo New Moon. The first thing I want to talk about is basically what we have just moved through, but we've moved through on a higher level. So whatever you worked through in the last full week, if not 2 weeks, have you noticed that it's almost like Uranus has come in to give you a new change, a new enlightenment or epiphany in something old that you've been working on for a long time? So an old wound, trigger, karmic pattern that it almost feels like it's been close to being transformed, right, into something so much higher, into like you're continuing to transcend these matrix dramas and connections and experiences that have become so solidified in your cells, right? Because the more light that we integrate into our physical bodies, that continues to pour on the planet. We just got out of Leo season with the Lion's Gate portal, which is a light portal, and a whole lot of fixed energy. So it's almost like what I'm feeling is that all this light poured in, and we were this grounded, like, I don't want to say stuck, but we were unmoving. It's like we brought the light in and it like allowed it to solidify in us. And now is the time that we're going to move through it, from it, with it, right? Now is the time that we're going to start getting more of the DNA activation, more of the messages and downloads that come with that light and with that evolution. As we continue to upgrade our literal DNA, like the helix strands, we're moving to from 2 to 12. And so as we continue to upgrade, it's like we bring the light in, we hold it, and then we activate it. So it feels like what we're moving into now in this Virgo season with more mutable energy is like, how can we start working with this? How can we start living in a way that becomes congruent with our new lives, our new multidimensional states of being, instead of the old patterns? I mean, we just continue to keep breaking those very, very deep patternings, conditionings, and programmings that have been here for centuries. Remember, it's not just your lifetime. This has been passed down through our cells and our DNA from generation to generation, because that's how powerful we are in our emotionality, in our experience, in our absorption of energy. That's so important, because we've been living for so long in this view of our lives being created from our minds, from our thinking brains. Like, feel into that, because we've always went through, how do I think about life, and how do I think about how to create a life, and then how do I make that happen? And what we're transforming back, like we're evolving back into what our bodies came to be capable of and produce. So when I really felt into what I wanted to share about the energies happening right now, because there are so many and we only have so much time here, I wanted to chat a little bit about the beautiful dance of Saturn, Pluto, and Uranus, right? Because when we get that Saturn squeeze or the Pluto squeeze, especially when we're in so much fixed energy, right? Which was the gift of the Uranus North Node and Mars conjunction in Taurus, that we're going to continue working with in new ways, because Mars has now left Taurus and it's moved into Gemini. So that gives us a new enlightenment of the situation, of the experience, of the transformation. But until that happened, we really sunk into the depths of like the deepest layers of the earth, where we're just, I see this as like we're held in the experience, in the programming, conditioning, in the karma or wounds that was coming up again in new ways. But it can start to bring you back to old patterns when you sit in it. And there's a purpose to that, because we have to understand those old patterns. If they're still hanging out in our cells, if they're still occupying space within our whole field and complex and system and being, we have to understand them before we can just break out. Because if we don't get the full picture, then it's gonna stay. We want to really excavate that. So I see that as us just buried in the energies while the light came in. So there was a lot happening, But when we don't have that flow and movement, it can feel really overwhelming for us. And that is how astrology comes in the nick of time. Like Mars going into Gemini was absolutely in the nick of time. I felt the shift like the night before. It was really incredible because it's like, okay, you've been here marinating, right, for long enough. Now I'm going to give you a little boost to help you take the deep learnings, the deep understandings, and learn how to work with them and learn how to transform them to get power, like to bring your power back and transform the wound or trauma in that situation. And that's this mutable energy is really just, it's not like gung-ho. It's like a nice gentle flow coming in because we've got Virgo energy and we have Gemini energy. So that's all. When I feel into mutable energy, it's like we're not charging forth, we're not stuck, but we are cautiously, optimistically moving forward. We're still reviewing, we're still like questioning, yet we have the movement to go forward in new ways. So it's almost like when we start to take those baby steps before we run. And that is where we're at right now. So I encourage you to really drop in to the gentle movement of what you deeply learned, what you deeply shifted, because I feel it. I feel it in the collective. These are the like most intense wounds and triggers of our lineage. This is lineage healing that you have all been working on. And remember, while we're doing this kind of like DNA transformation, like full-blown change in our system with the light messages and energies coming in, shit's going down all around us. Like, and it's going down around us because we are deeply changing in our cells, at our core, in our full sensory being and experience, in our cosmic selves, in our starlight. It's all happening, and that is the ripple effect. So remember what's happening on the outside, even if it can, if they're touting the fear messages with it, like have faith and trust that it's happening because we are so deeply changing and evolving as humans into these beautiful multidimensional sensory being, like gorgeous stars. It's so exciting. It's incredible. So I feel like like I said, there's so much to talk about, and hopefully I weaved you through a good thread there of what was coming through on my side. And yeah, let's just see what the cards have to say after all of that, shall we? And with Uranus, I'm continuing to do my 2 deck pulls, which feels really good still, because honestly, these last few months of 2022 really does feel like this is part of our final excavation of the personal light formation that we were meant to be, that we were meant to become, to hold the frequency of this planet for the full shift and change of, I want to say of the cosmos, of the universe, it's like galactic, yet we're holding the frequency for those that have not welcomed the evolution and light. Like, they're not there yet. But with us, there's going to be an energy for them to tap into that makes it so much more accessible as they become ready, as things start to make sense for them. It almost is going to take, for a lot of people, it's going to take the full dismantling of the culture and the power over dynamic, of the greed, of the dominance, of the oligarchy, it just feels like it's gonna take the crumbling of that for the shift in them. But here we are holding that frequency of light that is now available on the planet. And that is how the rebuild will really come. It really will. Like, I have a deep belief in it, and I can see it all in the messages, and it's like I share pieces along the way. So where are we now? Again, if you haven't moved, like, it's like, just start to take a step out of what you just went through, because that was really profound, the experience that came up that maybe you thought you were already beyond, right? Because when we're in these enlightenment phases, I want to say phases, like in the enlightenment spaces, it feels so known. It feels so aligned that we can almost believe that everything in ourselves has transformed or transmuted, and those experiences are no longer a part of us. But that's how powerful we are. Like, we are so powerful and absorptive that they've gotten their hooks in for centuries, and they can be so deep that these are the times. That's why these planets, you know, especially Pluto and Saturn right now, are giving us a gift of coming back, like, into the just full 3D matrix experience within our bodies, and remembering what still may be there, so that we can fully blast through it with the light. So if you're feeling the anxiety, it's because we just went through such a deep energy in all of that fixed frequency, with the final pieces of these karmas and wounds and triggers coming up. So allow yourself to feel it, right? Honor it, witness it, because that is a part of our emotional landscape as well, for a reason. And also let yourself tap into the new flow that's like knocking on your door. It's like, it's almost, I just got an image of your door is closed and the water is coming under. And instead of stopping the door up and putting towels underneath, actually open the door and get ready for, like, even another rebirth, another renewal. Like, welcome the water in its, like, healing properties through your space in trust. And trust that, like, you're not going to drown from it. You're actually going to flow with it and swim into new territories from that house, from that structure that you were in. Thank you. I loved that message. So situation, the challenge. So the challenge is the reversal of your second chakra, Archangel Ariel. And I'm going to feel into this one real quick. As you can see, like, this card is filled with golden light, which is what we all have taken in the Leo season, in like the biggest light of our year, and the Lionsgate portal. It was elevated in a whole new way this time around, because, like I've said before, with every portal we just continue to get more and more accelerated, and that can feel a little daunting. And so with your second chakra, you know, your sacral chakra, that's your life source energy. That's your creation energy. And so I want you to, it's interesting because this is so much of the work that I do as a pelvic floor therapist as well. Finding the power in, I'm getting the message of, like, this really is generational, because that is where we carry the cellular experiences. It's from womb to womb. Like, it comes through in our life-giving, reproductive, you know, life source space, which is the root of our creation and creation energy that moves through us from generation to generation. And so the reverse of this is, it's like, what are you blocking in that patterning? Are you allowing yourself to fully feel it, to fully accept it? It's almost like, don't hide from the huge job that you're doing. Like, you are here to literally heal your lineage through the matriarchal line. And so, wow, this is telling me that the light that really came in Leo season and Lionsgate energy is go beyond yourself, right? Because a lot of times when we're doing the healing work, we're just looking at like, how does this affect me? What happened in my life? But remember that the work that you're doing, the shadow that's coming up, many times, if not all of the time, has come down, and there's a thread that moves through the lineage. Like, even if you don't know your lineage, you now have the ability to tap into what has moved through your bloodline. And how do you create that space of like accelerated shifts, accelerated light in the DNA, and move backwards with it in order to move forward? I know that a lot of you know that most of this karma that's moved through our families stops here. It ends with us. That's how we move into the rebirth or the reawakening of ourselves and of New Earth, is we're not carrying those patterns and those traumas along anymore, and we're not passing them on to the lineage below us, to the generations below us. We're now holding a frequency of full accessibility into transformation through our emotionality, through our sensory system beyond the mind. So that was an interesting challenge, because it was almost a challenge for me to find the heart of it. So let me know in the comments, like, how does that card feel for you? The reverse of the second chakra with Archangel Ariel. What came up for you when that card came up as the challenge? And the outcome, I'm sorry, not the outcome, the action is the reverse of door to personal healing and happiness. Yeah, so the action here is, gosh, these cards are really interesting. So I just keep getting that this reading is about your like the lineage, the generational line of your bloodline, and how it's time to look at them. It's time to face the family, because a lot of us have so many triggers with the family, but now you've done so much personal work on yourself that you're only going to experience like quantum levels of enlightenment when you fully open and heal the lineage wounds. And that, it feels like that's the action that we're moving into. And as we heal the lineage, like we start to heal the line of power and succession in the world, right? I know that I'm not going to go deep into that because that feels really big and almost like too much. I want to stay a little more focused in here. So yeah, when you, I guess what keeps coming through for me is like, we can have this level of blissful denial. So feel into, if you like, it's almost like it's an avoidance, but it's an easy avoidance where we feel like, okay, the boundaries that we've resurrected over the last 2.5 years in order to get deeply personal and intimate with ourselves and our journey and the light coming in and our jobs here, like the soul's mission that we were sent here on the planet. We almost had to, you know, create those walls in places, even though it felt good. It felt good to release. Okay, so thank you. It's better to say disconnect those cords or sever those cords. And this isn't a message of personally reaching out to your family that is steeped in wounds and pain and difficulty. It's more about releasing the cage or the prison inside of you that may still have like the deep connections in your heart of the wound and trauma. So it's like healing. Thank you. Yes. So this card is about healing without needing to connect personally. You don't need to have these people in your lives, but right now it's important that you fully excavate the trauma from your cells and heal it where the charge is gone. It's neutral. Like you've transcended that charge, because that is where you're gonna go so much quicker with like lightning speed with all of this Uranus energy into never coming back, like into the full release from the cells and into the new structures of the DNA. That's literally how your DNA is going to be, I don't want to say reformed, but that's how we're going to keep growing our DNA into the 12-strand helix instead of the 2-strand helix. Wow. These are deep messages today, y'all. And I might have to cut this video a little because it's getting very long. So we'll see what makes it into the final cut. Okay, and so your clarifier card is prophetic dreams. So this isn't only in your sleeping time. It's like the dreams that have been tapping on your soul that your linear mind or your controlled narrative has just never, that has seen as fantasy, has just like, I see this as put it in a box, like put it in its own category that's separate from the way that you live and conduct your life and make choices. And it's almost like this card is telling me that those dreams were the ones that are here to tell your story, that are here to like take you into the highest states of enlightenment as you continue to transform in this evolution. And so look at your sleeping dreams as well. Like keep a dream journal. Those have so many meanings and so much depth to them in their emotional deliverance. But I want you to revisit the dreams that you've had that you just never allowed yourself to entertain because they didn't feel attainable in the trajectory, in the linear path that you were moving forward on. So I am going to complete this message here because that was just wild. That was a lot. And I would love to hear your comments. So let me know below, how did this resonate with you? Was there an alignment in the energies that you're feeling? And what are you moving through right now? How can you share your light with those in this community that could help support them and give them a Uranus enlightenment and aha and epiphany on their own journey? Because y'all, this is us coming together in our agency, our sovereignty of the deep work that we're doing and the medicine that we get to share from that. This is how you remember and reactivate the medicine that you came in here to be, to literally be in these bodies. So definitely make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell. I hold new and full moon live ceremonies in my membership community. So we would love to have you join us for this Virgo new moon. I also have bonuses. I have a new advanced meditation that's going out into the membership today. They get to have my embodied consciousness workshop. So definitely we would love to go deeper with you. This is where we do so much more of the actual integration. We work with the infinite light body and the physical vessel to integrate the energies that we're able to harness in these powerful times of the new and full moon. So check it out in the link below. I'd love to see you there. Hit me up, let me know if you have messages about any of my offerings. And I'm just so grateful for you, and I feel really appreciative to be doing this deep work with you in the ultimate acceleration of light on this planet, and a beautiful new earth that we are all going to get to enjoy from this hard work that we have committed to together. So until next time, don't forget to keep looking up.